It's been 7 years since a specific cycle started. A cycle that tore me down several times. uh, Completely distorted my perception of myself, shoved me into a process of deep self abnegation for a prolonged period. I allowed a lot of people to get in my head and convince me horrendous things about myself that weren't even rooted in reality. And I allowed that to affect me to the degree that I sabotaged my own progression. At least that's what I thought. And then recently something clicked, all the pieces clicked into place. And I see now I had to go through all of these major lessons and micro lessons to really have a very nuanced understanding of my place, the appropriateness of me defending myself when needed, and really giving myself permission to be the person that I am. Very outspoken, very fiery in nature. That I'm not to dim myself in any way, shape, or form. And it's only then when I lose the last dregs of shame for being witnessed as someone ridiculously powerful and formidable that I will be ready to exit out of that cycle and enter into a new age. And then here it is. Here it is. Everything rapidly shifting from my focus to my path to the trajectory, everything rapidly shifting. And I'm not even forcing anything. I'm just simply surrendering to the process soul has already carefully, very, very carefully planned out for me, knowing I've been training for this the last 7 years without even realizing, experiencing the hardships that carry the greatest degree of learning. I mean, how intelligent does soul have to be to know exactly what life circumstance, what situations, what type of pain will ripen you to the degree that you burst open? Michael gives me this visual of entering into an orchard where the fruit is very ripe. So you smell the sweetness of the fruit before ever touching anything. And then he says, I wonder if the fruit even realizes how sweet they are. Do you realize the type of essence you carry? Do you realize that? In person, I'm a very subdued individual. I don't really talk much when other people are present. I mean, you have to be someone I really feel comfortable with, or I've known you for quite some time for me to share any of my thoughts. I'm just, yeah. I'm actually an introvert in real life, and I don't talk to people. And even with that, I don't realize that I project into my environment an energy that just draws people. And then one day, one of my alleged elder ops, no, she's not an elder op. This lady who keeps trying to talk to me at the gym, she's recently stopped and given me my space. But I remember one day she started a conversation with me, and she said as soon as she saw me in the gym, she said, I have such a huge energy, such a huge, beautiful energy. And that's why she made it a point to try and befriend me. Your commitment is being tested, but here it's in reverse. Your soul knows you're committed. I think the only one that doesn't realize how committed you are to this process is you. Everything's coming together. And one of the most important components for you to allow to come to you is this realization of how committed you've been to this. You've shown up every day not realizing you're showing up. You show up every day not realizing that you're showing up, not allowing things to shake you as much as you used to. That's pretty badass. Like, okay, so you guys saw the past several weeks, I have been having some uncomfortable situations in the gym. People are trying so hard to befriend me. And like I said, I'm very uncomfortable with other people. So I force myself to go to the gym and I'm working out and I'm lifting pretty heavy. And I'm at the Smith machines and I have 45-pound plates stacked on top of each other that I'm standing on because I'm deadlifting and I'm short. So I needed to be raised up. And I was done deadlifting and I was putting away the 45-pound plates. I was picking them up, one in each hand, and I was putting it back on the rack. And I went for the last two that were still stacked on the floor. And this guy, he walks up real fast and he's asking me something. And I was like, I'm sorry, I took my earbud out. And I didn't feel any type of fear or anything like that. I didn't feel skittish because I'm finishing my workout. I'm already here. And he's like, "Are you done with this?" I said, "Yeah, no, go ahead. You could use it. I'm done." And I didn't realize he had come to put it away from me. And I was like, "Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I could have put it away myself." And then obviously I had my workout, my gym ring on, and I was like, "Oh, sorry." It didn't dawn on me until he looked at my hand and then he just quietly walked away and he disappeared. And I was just like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. I don't know if that's you trying to shoot your shot or something, but that's unfortunate. Yeah, I could have put it away myself. And normally, again, I would have been weirded out, like, oh no, oh no. But I'm done shrinking away. I need to focus on what I'm there to do. I don't care who's looking. I'm there to do what I'm there to do. And everyone else is none of my concern. I am safe in my space. I am protected at all times. If I really needed help, I have no problem going to the workers, calling my husband, like, no. I'm done with that part of my life where I shrink away and I allow uncomfortable social situations to cause me to shut down to varying degrees. I'm done. I'm there to work out. And that's that. Sometimes things become awkward for you just because of the way you see it, right? The way you see it. And I don't typically go to the gym at that time, the time that I went. So it's completely different people with a completely different energy to it. And typically that alone will cause me to be like, I don't want to be here. This feels weird. I don't want to be here. But I totally was like, no, I freaking drove all this way. I put on the gym stuff. I'm finishing this. I got 3 more hours up in here. And so I did. I finished it. I finished everything that I needed to do. And I didn't let anything interfere with my focus of what I'm there to do. And I think this is a time in your journey where that's kind of where your mindset needs to go. Just remaining very focused, very, very focused on what you need to get done. Be fearless. You don't have to be fearless. It's in reverse. You can be afraid. You can feel intimidated. Keep pushing. Keep going. Allow yourself to shine. Don't dim your shine just because you've entered into a space of recognizing you're feeling intimidated by something, by someone, by a circumstance. You can still continue to function feeling intimidated. At one point, because yesterday was leg day, right? At one point, there is this girl who I sometimes see working out there, and she has phenomenal form. And we happen to be on Smith machines beside each other. And I forgot what I think she was doing squats or something. And I was doing hip thrusts and I kept seeing her look over, which made me very self-conscious because I had a shit ton of weights on the bar and I was about to hip thrust that. And my immediate thought, because she has phenomenal form, is like, oh my God, is my form off? Is that where she's looking? Oh my God, am I not like properly? No, my hips are good. My movement's good. Legs are good. Okay, I'm just gonna focus on working out because I was worried I was gonna injure myself. I was immediately, my insecurity made me feel and think, oh my God, she notices that I'm doing this wrong. And she probably thinks I'm gonna hurt myself lifting all this weight. And she doesn't wanna say it. For all I know, she was impressed with how much I was lifting. I don't effing know why she was looking at me. Is that any of my concern? No. And you know what ended up happening was I told myself, knock it off and focus on what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing. You don't know why she's looking at you. And until she comes up to you and tells you, it's none of your business. I had to tell myself that. And as soon as I told myself that, I went right back to what I was doing. And I finished my entire Smith machine protocol. um, and then when I moved to a different area, that's when I realized, yeah, no, she was wondering how I was lifting it so heavy because I'm smaller than her. I'm much smaller than her. I got spindly ass legs. It's so embarrassing. My legs are so chicken leggish. But that was a thing. I saw her pushing herself later on, and she was lifting maybe a third of what I was lifting. It's not a competition, but it's just this thing of my view. It became apparent that my perception, my assumption, was not rooted in reality. It was rooted in insecurity. You can be very insecure and still continue safely if you focus on what you are doing, on the movements and the proper form. And I'm not talking about working out, I'm talking about your spiritual journey. I'm talking about your spiritual journey. You focus on the way you move through your life circumstance, on the form you have as you move. There are certain parts of you that need to be rigid, that need to be fortified. And there are other parts of you that need to be able to flow and move with grace. And you also have to pay attention to the ways in which your positioning will affect the way you move.